I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Colossians, chapter 4. Let's focus on verses 5 and 6. Walk in wisdom concerning outsiders, making the most of the time. Your speech should always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you should answer each person. Now, I love to fish, although I haven't done it in years consistently. One summer, my brother and I vowed to fish every day, despite the heat waves and the thunderstorms. And I even got my picture in the paper when a news reporter noticed on his way home every day, he noticed that we had some kind of devotion to the art of angling. And my brother was late getting there, and he was so mad that he didn't get in the paper, and it was me that got this picture in the paper. Our favorite place to fish was my Uncle Alpha's lake. What a great name for a guy. They named him Alpha because he was the first child out of 7, which eventually came, my grandfather's brother. One day I was sitting on the edge of the dock at Alpha's pond, cooling my feet in the water when my brother yelled, "Pick up your feet." And I looked down just in time to spy a huge loggerhead turtle swimming up, mouth open, ready to bite off my big toe in a moment. And that's when I realized you have to be alert when you're fishing, because some things might be fishing for you. And this concept of alertness transfers to evangelism. After all, evangelism is fishing for men. And Paul says that we should walk in wisdom concerning outsiders. In addition to being knowledgeable of the gospel, we should be wise with it. And we are called to be gracious to the unbeliever. Paul directs us to intentionally season our conversations with the salt of the gospel. What does that mean? Well, as another Bible translation put it, always be gracious and interesting, so that you will know how to respond to any particular individual. I like that. You know, there is a reason why bartenders set out bowls of pretzels, because salt makes people thirsty. And so if you give away free pretzels, you sell more beer. We salt our conversation so that people will want to hear more about Jesus. How does that play out practically? Well, first, for starters, listen. We live in an age of information overload, and people seldom get to tell their stories to a live human being. Next, turn down the preaching and turn up the caring. You'll get to the preaching eventually. Show genuine concern for people. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. So try communicating at the pedestrian level instead of at the seminary level. And that means drop some of the Christian ease, the church language. Otherwise, we may appear to be so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. And avoid taking a secular approach, which abandons the gospel for the sake of cultural relevance. Share the whole gospel, even the aspects that seem uncomfortable. In trying to erase the differences between the church and the world, many well-intended Christians have become so worldly minded that they're no heavenly good. Jesus says there is no such thing as a follower of Jesus who disregards the truth of his word. Matthew chapter 7, verse 21, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father." Now, what is the will of his Father concerning him? That we would receive the gospel, we would believe it by faith, and we would surrender to become saved. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Check us out at groundworksministries.com. There's some people who say, I'd like to support Groundworks Ministries. Do you need our support? Absolutely, we do. And supporting Groundworks Ministries, donating is secure and it's easy at our website, groundworksministries.com. Another way to help us is to tell people about us. You can share these podcasts with your family and friends, share them on your social media, and you can always direct folks to our website, groundworksministries.com.